I told Brother Terry Leach there that you have a title. I didn't really get a title, but I told him that I said, Satan's after you.
Every day.
Is he, huh?
Every day.
He's after us, and the devil's something else. And I kept thinking about different things the devil will do. And one of them, in particular, I'm going to try to stress on, is out of Proverbs chapter 1. We'll turn to Proverbs chapter 1. Well, Dave, will you read Proverbs chapter 1, starting with verse 8 and go through 19, I guess? Back up to 7. Go ahead and get to 7 too.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood, let us lurk privately for the innocent without cause, let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as they that go down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in... I just turned pages on me here.
Hit verse 15. My son, walk not in the way with them.
My son, walk not in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path. For their foot run to evil, and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. They lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privately for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof.
Well, I think this first part of this in Proverbs from Solomon, the first part is talking about wisdom. Get wisdom. And if you get wisdom, verse 5 says, the man will hear and will increase in learning, and man in understanding shall be wise in his counsel. So the first part is teaching about wisdom to a child of God. He says in verse 10, my son. Is that a child of God? Okay, so he's referring to as a child of God. Get wisdom and get learning, and you want to get more and more learning and increase your wisdom. And then he says, my son, we're talking about God's child, if sinners entice thee, consent thee not. They say, come, let us lay wait for blood, but the darkness, privately and the innocent without cause. So he's talking about a child of God that is getting wisdom that we need, especially children. This really applies to children, that we teach them in the right way. Teach them wisdom of God and of the Bible, and it gives that wisdom to children, but it also applies to us that we need to get more and more wisdom every day. You know, the Bible tells us over in Proverbs 3:13, it says, happy is the man that getteth what? Wisdom. Happy is the man that gives wisdom and understanding. Now, this wisdom is talking about a spiritual wisdom. I know we need schools and we need wisdom in a natural way, but if you really want to be happy, you're going to find wisdom of God. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom and getteth understanding, if he understands it. So that verse 5 that says we need to be learning all this. It's a wonderful. If you read all that proverb, it keeps telling you how to instruct your people and give them wisdom. Have you ever been enticed?
Oh yeah.
All of us, at one time or another, we've been enticed. I know I mentioned it before here several years ago about I was at DK's barbecue. You may know where that's at. Good barbecue if you ain't tried it. But I was in DK's and I was at the counter and I ordered and something kept attracting my attention on my left side there when I had a good eye. I can't see it now, but I kept seeing something blink. I turned around and I seen a clothespin holding a dollar bill. And that dollar bill was just about to fall off. They had something like a little crane-like thing that went through there. That's hard to describe. But anyway, that dollar bill looked like it would be easy to get. And I almost tried for it, but I didn't. So those things like that entice us. I know I went to the fair and got enticed several times with those little cranes over there. They have all this money. It looks like it's fixing them. You can bump it and everything else, and it won't fall. I think they put glue on it. But Brother Philip said he spent $78 to get a bear. I said, Philip, he said, don't worry, I'm not going to do it no more. So he was enticed, and I was enticed. You know, people get enticed. What is enticed? It means to allure, attract, flatter, deceive. All these things. I got to think about that allurement there. When I fished a lot, and I used bait, I'd use brokeback rebels and tiny torpedoes and plastic worms, and all these were bait, and I would be trying to lure these fish to bite this thing where I could eat him. Well, that's a type of allurement, but Satan himself is the enticer. Satan is a liar. The Bible tells us he's a liar and a murderer. John 8:44, I believe it says, he's a liar and a murderer and a thief. And he's going to try his best to deceive you and allure you like that fish. How fish for lures try to attract them. The Satan himself is after you. He's out to destroy every one of our lives. If we allow him, he will. So we need to not be allured or enticed or attracted. You know, Satan is pleased whenever he does entice people. And he does it every day. He entices us and allures us and tries to flatter us and deceive us. Turn to Deuteronomy chapter 13, if you would. Chris, you want to read Deuteronomy 13, 6 through 11. Every one of these I'm fixing to mention is somebody that has been enticed or going to be enticed, and the results is death. It's a serious matter to be enticed if you go along with the enticer. Deuteronomy 13, verse 6 through 11, brother.
If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers. Namely, of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee, from the one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth, thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall thine eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him. But thou shalt surely kill him. Thine hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people. And thou shalt stone him with stones that he die, because he hath sought to trust thee away from the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. And all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any such wickedness as this is among you.
Now, if they got enticed back then, it was a serious matter.
He killed him.
Huh?
Killed him, it says.
They'd stone them. They'd kill them. Well, guess what? If Satan allures us enough, he'll also destroy us and kill us. And we are not to follow after Satan's ways. The Bible tells us in 1 John 2:15, love not the world, nor the things in the world, of the love of what? The Father is not in us. So we're not, And then he goes on, tells us those three things that's the beginning of sin. He says the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. All these, if we do these things, Satan is pleased if you are lured or enticed and deceived to do the things of the world. Love not the world, what God says, nor the things in the world. Now, he's not saying you got to do away with everything. I don't think he's saying that. He's saying, put me first. God is to be first and foremost. And then he tells us what the results can be if you see something with your eyes, the lust of the eyes, that's an enticement. I can see things. David certainly saw something. What did he see? He saw a woman bathing, and he enticed. He was enticed by her, and it destroyed him. He was because of the sword never departed from his house because of that. So we got to be careful. Now David was enticed. Well, you and I can be enticed. I know I've been enticed many times. I had never played the lottery, but I've been enticed other ways. Brother David and I were riding a motorcycle years ago, several years ago. And I was looking for a Jeep at that time. You remember this, Brother David? And I wanted a red Jeep. And we were riding our motorcycles, and I had been looking and looking and looking for almost a year for a Jeep that I wanted, the kind I wanted, and the color I wanted. And here, Lord and behold, here we go. Right down State Street, right going out of town. And I looked to the left, and guess what I saw? A red Jeep. I was enticed at that moment. I was lured. My eyes, so I turned around, and that Jeep looked really, really good from the road. But when we got up there, the man had it locked up. I went to the little building he had, and he said, well, it won't crank right now, but I've got to do so-and-so and so-and-so to get it cranked. I looked at the floorboard, and it was about rusted in two. But that, and I was enticed to start with. And I didn't buy it. Thank goodness I had enough sense not to buy it. But that's how easy we can be allured or love something so much that you just get, what do you call it when you just, your eyes is bigger than your mouth or something like that.
Like say tunnel vision.
Yeah, tunnel vision. That's what I'm saying. You got tunnel vision. And you don't see nothing else but that red Jeep. Satan was pleased for a moment, but thank God, the Bible tells us that if we flee from the devil, what do you got to do is flee from the devil. We're to flee from him. Draw nigh to God, but don't draw nigh to Satan, because he'll destroy your life. I thought about who's somebody that comes to your mind that was enticed or lured or deceived.
King David.
Well, King David, we mentioned him, but King David was over and over. He went through the enticement.
Eat the fruit.
What was his name?
Achan.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Achan. Turn to what is it? Judges 7:24. No. Anyway, no, it's in Kings. Achan was the whole tribe of Israel was told to not to get the Babylonish garment, the silver, the gold, and that's what you need. I don't forget where it's at, but Achan saw this, or Achan, whatever you want to call it. He saw these things. Was he being enticed right there? Everything else flew out the window. He wasn't thinking about nothing else but that one thing, that wedge of gold and silver and the blanket. And they were told not to partake of it. And remember a while ago I said every one of these people we talking about die or get killed, like Brother Chris read in Deuteronomy. It's a serious matter. Well, Achan saw these things. He went and took it and put it on his tent and hid it and buried it. Well, first of all, even though he got it, could he spend it or look at nothing but look at it and cover it back up right quick? You know somebody else had done that too over in Matthew 25, how they hid their talent. Well, same happened here with Achan. He saw it. He lusted after it. His eyes desired it. Lust of the eyes. The lust of the flesh. He went and got it. And then the pride of life. I got silver and gold. I got a Babylonish garment. That's all they could do was say something like that. But he wasn't going to tell the leaders of it. So he hides it back. And they found out what happened. The rulers found out what happened and what Achan had done, and they stoned him to death and then burned him. And not only that, it gets worse. He didn't just get stoned and burned, his whole family was destroyed. Is that a serious matter? Yes, it is. All because he was enticed to do those things. All right, who else? Samson, that's a good one. Turn over to, well, we just paraphrase that instead of doing a lot of reading. Over in Judges 14, Samson was a strong man. We knew that. He was a real strong man. God was using him, and what was going to make him weak was, well, really Satan, but his hair. He had long hair. Back in those days, he was a Nazarite, and they had long hair and all these things. But Samson had a wife from Timnah. And Samson, he put forth a riddle to them. And he'd been going up and down the road there, and he saw a lion and a bear and all these things. But that lion, he killed him, and he put bees got in that lion's carcass. Now, all this it seems weird, but that's the way it happened. Bees got inside that carcass, and then he had honey. Eventually, he hadn't told his mom and daddy said about all this, him killing that lion and the bees and the honey. But he finally gave him some, and then he had a riddle. Out of the eater cometh forth meat. And then, I don't know the rest of it, but y'all know what I'm talking about him killing the lions and bees. And then finally wound up, and that was a riddle to his wife. And then over in the 16th chapter, if you go to it and read and study on it, you're going to find out that he went with a harlot. And Delilah, I think was her name. And they told her to entice Samson. They wanted to figure out the rebel. He had 30, some money and some sheep and all these things. If you want to give them, they could figure it out. But it went 7 days, and his wife, his harlot that he was with, she began to cry and carry on and all that. He felt sorry for her a little bit. He said, okay, I'm going to put forth a riddle. Y'all figure it out, and all this will go to you. And they couldn't. It wound up. He finally told them what it was all about, and his eyes was gouged out. He was put on a wine press to walk. I assume he was walking around pushing it like a mule or a horse. And he did all those things, and he lost his eyes. He lost his strength. But remember, death. When you're enticed, and all this is because of enticement. Samson was killed, but he killed himself and killed more Philistines that had ever been killed before. He asked God to bless him one more time. And God did bless him, and it says the Spirit of the Lord came upon Samson. And he pulled those pillows down, and it killed him and all the Philistines. But it all started off by enticement. A serious matter. I thought about Jesus himself. Was he enticed? Let's back up and read that. David, well, you done read. Jane, how about reading for us Matthew chapter, 4. Matthew chapter 4, but, I don't forget what verse it was, I only have it on here.
Number one,
Starts
isn't
in the first verse.
it?
Huh?
First.
Starts in verse
Okay, it goes into 5, okay.
Okay.
Read that for me, Jim.
Okay. Then was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
Okay, was Jesus tempted or tried to be lured by Satan?
He tried.
Tried, that's right, tried. What did he do? He used the word of God, didn't he? Jesus was tempted. You don't think he won't tempt you? If he tempted Jesus, he certainly tempts us. And try to lure us, entice us with things. So we got to be careful. The good thing about it, Ephesians chapter 6, we got something to protect us from all that. What is it? The armor. The armor of God. We got the helmet, the breastplate, and all these shoes shod, and all these things. If you read Ephesians 6:11, starting with verse 11, I believe it is, it teaches about that we can fight off the devil. That he is trying to destroy us every day. Think about these scriptures here that about our adversary, which means enemy. Peter 5:8 says, Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is as a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. He's out to seek and to destroy us, and by enticements, and destroy makes it to death. 1 John 3, He that committeth sin is of the devil. For the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifest, that he might destroy the works of the devil. And when he says that in the beginning, we all see Adam and Eve and the fruit that they were not to partake of. And there again, Satan was there and enticing them with that fruit. He said, the third verse, he said, You're not going to die. Your eyes are going to be open. You're going to be like God. No, it didn't work that way. James, how about reading James 1:12 and 13? We're all enticed and lured, and it's dangerous. Read real loud, James. James chapter 1, verses 12 and 13, I believe it is.
Lest the man endure temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man.
Like God don't tempt us. Now there is a tempt that comes in the Old Testament where Abraham was tempted, but that meant tested. Now sometimes God's word will be the same thing, but it has different meanings. You follow what I'm saying? And when you look it up in concordance, you'll find out that when Abraham was tempted, that meant he was tested to do what God would have him to do, and certainly he offered up his son, and he went through, but he didn't have to kill him. But we are all tempted, as James says, but God's not tempted, and he tempts no man. But we are tempted many times, many times.
This temptation here is making reference to temptation to evil. And God never tempts to do evil.
Never does.
And, so it's specifically here talking about we're tempted to evil, but God doesn't tempt.
God
It doesn't
tempt
say
any
God
man.
doesn't tempt evil, but that's what
He don't tempt us, do
he doesn't. The implication is he doesn't tempt us to
he?
sin.
Right. So now, Ephesians 4:27, we taught a whole lesson on this one down this one verse here. It says, neither give place to the devil. When you give place to the devil, what's he going to do? He's going to destroy you. He's going to entice you, make everything look good, and then he's going to kill you. But James 4:7 says, submit yourself therefore to God, and resist the devil. And what's going to happen if you resist the devil? He's going to flee from you. Can you get rid of him?
It's resisting.
You resist him, go out of God, resist the devil, and he's going to flee from you. It don't matter. Greater is he that is in you that is in what? The world. And the devil is of the world. There's so many different ways you can go in it, but I'm thankful that we have a way to protect ourselves from the evil one, which is Satan. He told Matthew 16:33, Matthew 16:23. Peter himself, Jesus said, "Get behind me, Satan." You remember that? He was doing some things he wasn't supposed to be doing, and God shunned him and got on to him. He said, "Get behind me, Satan." Satan is the devil. We need to be mindful, neither give place to the devil, because he will destroy you, he will kill you, he will devour us. All these things. Anybody got anything?